Morning to meeting of the regular meeting of the Kaufman County Commissioners Court. Today is Tuesday, December 27th, 2016. It is our regular meeting. We'll begin here just in a few moments. If you have an item that you'd like to discuss that's on the agenda here, just in a few moments, you could go ahead and fill out a sign-in sheet over on the table and pass that in to the sheriff and county clerk. We will hear that just in a few moments. And we're going to begin this morning with our invocation, and I've asked Commissioner Shane to give that, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance to both of our flags. So if you'll join me to stand together.
Our most graceful Heavenly Father, we just come to you today and thank you again for your many blessings. We just thank you for this season of the year that you give us each year. We just thank you again for your blessings on that. We also ask you to be with our first responders, our soldiers that are in harm's way, and our police officers that do their due diligence each day in our nation. We just ask you now to bless this court as we do the business of our county. These things we ask in your Son's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Again, if you have an item that you wish to speak that's on the agenda, be sure to turn those in just as soon as possible so we can get those scheduled. We do have some routine correspondence that I want to take care of at the very beginning of the meeting. And to do that, I need to ask both Commissioner Shane and Commissioner Rosalic and Sheriff Burns and Mrs. Ratcliffe to come to the front of the meeting area there so we can present something to you. Y'all kind of line up here. You've been sworn in and swore at now. This is the time of the year whenever we present the outgoing office holders a plaque for their service for Kaufman County. And the first one I'd like to present is to Commissioner Jimmy Joe Rosalic for your years of service to the Kaufman County.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you very much. Next would be another plaque to Kenneth Shane, Commissioner Precinct 3. And sir, we thank you for your service to Kaufman County. A total of 8 years.
8 years and 6 months.
8 years and 6 months.
I appreciate working for the constituents of Kaufman County.
The next would be to our tax assessor collector, Mrs. Tanya Ratcliffe. And thank you, Tanya, for your efforts and work in the Kaufman being our Kaufman County tax assessor collector.
Thank you, Judge. I enjoyed every minute of it.
All right. Thank you very much. And last, and certainly not least, is to Kaufman County Sheriff David Burns for 16 years of service to citizens of Kaufman County. I have a little fun with the sheriff. I call him, he's the high sheriff, and he says, well, I'm the only sheriff you got, so I don't know whether I'm high or low. So always mentions that. Congratulations, Sheriff. Thank you for your dedication. Let's give these guys one. Item A is to discuss and consider approving deputation of Kyle Barnes and Michael R. Cheseldine as deputy for the Kaufman County Sheriff's Department. Item B is to discuss and consider reappointing Mike Sharp as a board member for the Emergency Service District Number 5 for a 2-year term. C is to discuss and consider reappointing Danny Brock and Ashley Hunsaker for a 1-year term and Stephanie Collins for a 2-year term to the Emergency Services District Number 7. Item D is to discuss and consider approving a request from the Farmers Electric Cooperative Incorporated to construct electrical power distribution facilities across Valley View, which is located approximately 0.049 miles northwest of Scenic Circle in Kaufman County, Precinct 2. Item E is to discuss and consider approving a request from Farmers Electric Cooperative Incorporated to construct an electric power distribution facility across University Drive, which is located approximately 350 feet northwest of FM 548 in Kaufman County Precinct 2. Item F is to discuss and consider approving the request of CenturyLink to construct approximately 4,800 feet of buried fiber optic cable along Lakeside Drive and County Road 4020 in Kaufman County Precinct 4. G is to discuss and consider approving a request of CenturyLink to construct approximately 3,100 feet of buried fiber optic cable along County Road 4059 and Emerald Boulevard, also in Kaufman County Precinct 4. H is this to review the Star Transit first quarter report for November 2016 for demand and ridership in Kaufman County trolley ridership report, as well as the Kaufman County on-call ridership report. And I is to review the AgriLife Extension report for Katie Phillips for November 2016. Commissioners, anybody have anything they'd like to pull out and discuss, or do you have any comments on the consent agenda? We have a motion from Commissioner Shane to approve. I'm sorry. Stephen Phillips, I'm sorry. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Thank you very much. Item number 3 is to discuss and consider renewing lease between G. Schuler Development and Precinct 4 for use of land located at the corner of US 175 and FM 741 for a 1-year term beginning January 1, 2017. Commissioner Allen, I believe that's in your precinct.
Man, you get lots of short that long got here, say this all the time, bring it all the way to him, so it's well over.
We have a motion from Commissioner Allen and we have a second from Commissioner Shane. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Item number 4 is to discuss, or I'm sorry, for Mrs. Radcliffe for her to present the tax assessor collector's report for November of 2016.
Good morning, gentlemen. In November of this year, we have brought in a total for the month, brought in $1.7 million for M&O and $247,000 for INS and $320,000 for Road and Bridge. In addition, along the right side, you'll note that we brought in $151,713 in delinquent taxes for M&O and $16,267 for Road and Bridge. Our total collections year to date are $1,973,723 for M&O and $352,724 for Road and Bridge. We did have one rollback this month. It was in the Forney area. I've got a picture of it here if anybody wants to see exactly where that rollback was, and it's highlighted in yellow. Pardon me. And we did only have, in the month of December so far, we have only had one smaller mortgage company pay, which which is a little over 5 million, but it will be in next month's report, but that'll probably be being distributed this week. Normally, the mortgage companies that pay, the biggest part of our bills, pay the last week in December or the first week in January, usually if they can the last week in December, because a lot of their mortgagees want their write-off in December, but we have not received any of those yet.
Should be a busy week then, probably.
Yes, expect so.
A short week too. So. Anybody have any questions of Ms. Ratcliffe on her report? Have a motion to accept the report from Commissioner Shane and second by Commissioner Allen. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Next item on the agenda is item number 5, to discuss and consider the tax assessor and collector's report of training hours as required by law.
Yeah, House Bill, or Senate Bill, 546 requires that at the end of each calendar year, I report to you that I have completed my required training hours. I have completed those hours. We had a couple of really good conferences this year where I got in most of my hours. The tax collector is required to take at least 20 hours of training a year, and 10 of which needs to be in tax collecting. And I have completed that assignment, so I want to make sure I reported it to the Commissioner's Court before that. And the other hours that I earn, mostly at the conference, just help me in maintaining my professional county collector certification.
Congratulations. And I guess we should go ahead and consider approving those as well as a matter of record. So
yes.
To have a motion to approve the training hours as reported by Mrs. Ratcliffe. Commissioner Rosales makes that motion. I have a second. Commissioner Allen seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Thank you very much, Tanya. Item number 6 is from our treasurer, Mr. Oldfield, to present and accept the treasurer's monthly report for November 2016.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Judge. The November 30th Treasurer's Report, general fund cash balance, we started the month with $1,265,904.73. We had receipts of $2,458,654.96. We made disbursements of $2,998,639.54. $3 million for the month. We've got a $36 million approximate budget, so you can see that it's just an average month. We have an ending balance of $725,920.15, and all of that's held at American National Bank under the terms of our depository contract. We did, as you see down the left-hand side, we did close out our money market investment account. $47 of residual interest posted at the end of the month. We'll remove that in December. A couple more highlights here on the front page. Fund 128, the original road bond issue from 2014. Has $5,366,237.78 that had not been spent at the end of November. The new road bond proceeds are stored at Tex Pool, as we've discussed, and there's $26,018,060.48 at Tex Pool. Interest on that is $15,828.02. I think it's still at 38 basis points versus 35 at American National Bank, so we made an extra $1,500 by having a Tex Pool.
Okay.
And while we're there, we've talked that, and we'll have our January, we'll make our investment officer's report. We have our investment policy in place. We do need a member of the Commissioner's Court to consider being on the investment committee. And I got information this morning. for some of the money in the current road bond proceeds that we're not going to use for 2 years. I saw a Federal Home Loan Bank Board opportunity today that was nearly 1.29%. I've seen last week 1 year obligations for a little bit over 1%. So as we get into January, we make the investment officers report in January, we'll start showing the new court some of the potential for the county. All right, quickly wrapping up, thank you for your time. The interest on the funds on deposit at American National Bank produced $3,839.64 in interest, and you can see in general how that was dispersed, almost equally split between the general fund and the road bond fund. We've provided to you on the next 2 pages our pledged security listing. That's the collateral that American National provides for the funds on deposit. And we had $1,612.08 in bank service charges waived because of the funds that we had on deposit. So we can look at that as an additional $1,600 of interest income, if you will. And then we've monthly debt report with the new interest and principal payments required by the 2016 tax road bonds. You know, currently, as of November 30th, our principal and interest payments due on the debts listed on the page by the county is $98,492,742.21. And then the last pages are the detailed fund balances and account summaries, and then each of you have your precinct reports. Are there any questions, gentlemen? Thank you all for a wonderful year. I want to give my compliments to our outgoing commissioners. Thank you for your service to the county.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion from Commissioner Shane to approve, accept. Do we have a second? Commissioner Kozolak seconds motion. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed.
Thank you, James.
Thank you very much. Alrighty, item number 7 is to discuss and consider a resolution opposing any amendment and or repeal of any current statutes or rules that authorize local control by the Commissioners Court in the administration of our duties concerning records held by the county and district clerk, or how the county chooses to offer those records to the public, and any diversion of county revenue to any other governmental entity concerning records under local control by statute. That's long.
I'm not sure if you got this information from the district clerk, but I'll make it available to give you a little bit of background information. And our association has sent a letter that they would like the clerks to read. Rhonda says she's sorry she couldn't be here today, but she is in full support of this resolution. So I'm just going to read you what was sent out by our association. Dear judges and commissioners, Rhonda Huey and I would respectfully request that the attached resolution for the Kaufman County Research Texas resolution be placed on the Commissioners Court agenda for consideration, discussion, and adoption, and we are happy to provide more information or answer any questions. The resolution has been adopted by the County and District Clerks Association of Texas in coordination with the Office and the Legal Counsel of County Judges and Commissioners. The Texas Supreme Court and the Office of Court Administration have been collecting documents filed to the county and district courts via e-file taxes. When e-file began, clerks, courts, and attorneys were assured documents would only be maintained on the state's e-file server for 30 days. However, beginning in January of this year, without any notice to the clerk, courts, and the judges, the Supreme Court began keeping all the documents e-filed with the intent to provide the public with a system, which is Research Texas, to provide copies of the records from all the courts across the state. The Clerks Association has met with the representatives of OCA and JCIT committee to express our concerns. They've been discounted, and the implementation of Research Texas is moving forward. They've outlined 6 items that are concerns. The first one being the Constitution and state laws. The clerks are the custodian of all court records. The Supreme Court and OCA have no statutory authority to create a system for purchase of the county records without the consent of the custodian and the counties to whom these records belong. And I believe there's an Attorney General's opinion in that package that discusses this. Local Government Code 191 vests authority with the Commissioners Court to decide how and if the documents are to be made available to the public for purchase via the internet. By the AG's option, the Greg Abbott -566, the Attorney General confirmed the Commissioners had and retained this authority. Texas statute allows the clerks to charge $1 for copies of court records, which is deposited into the general fund, and the Supreme Court intends to offer the documents for a smaller fee and share the proceeds with the county. Number 4, the Supreme Court intent for the system is for the convenience of the public. Clerks make all the court records available to the public during regular business hours. Some counties have decided to place all or some or no records or case indices on the internet. The clerks take the position that the decision should not be left to the counties. The clerks take the position that the decision should be left to the counties and that 24-hour convenience is not sufficient reason to take away or undermine the authority of the county elected officials. At this time, there are no provisions in place that the Supreme Court or OCA is utilizing to redact confidential information contained in the court records. Under the current rules, clerks are charged with responsibility to make sure that sealed, confidential, or expunged information is not made available to the public pursuant to the various statutes and court orders for the records they keep in the office. The clerks fulfill their duties by ensuring that the paper case files and the electronic files are secure. Currently, clerks must remove any record from Research Texas in order to comply with the orders that make filing confidential. In addition to the data entry in our own system, this raises concerns of liability to the county as well as utilizing county staff to maintain a state system. Number 6, the OCA has indicated that the Supreme Court will seek to amend and change various statutes regarding confidential information. For example, information such as children's names and birth dates are required to be filed in divorce and custody papers per the Family Code. However, under the rules of civil procedure, such information must be redacted by the clerk if the clerk chooses to make the document available to the public on the internet. Such information does not need to be redacted if the clerk has the document and information available in the office as part of the record. So the county and district clerk opposes the development and the implementation of Research Texas for these stated reasons, and we're asking the Commissioners Court, and we'll be talking to the judges to adopt a resolution opposing the Research Texas system as well. The implementation of this system has a direct impact on the sphere of authority granted to the elected official. It undermines the authority of the Commissioners Court regarding the sale of the document, and it may cause funds to be diverted from the county. And it's just something that we would ask the Commissioners support and join in our association in opposing these changes that are being made.
Yeah, I think so, and I noticed, and as you said, that the County Judges and Commissioners Association has also agreed that this is not a good thing. Has anybody, just as a matter of information, has anybody at the local level push this? I mean, is this all coming from the top down?
They say that they've done a poll of 3,000 attorneys in the state of Texas, and 98% of them would like to have access to a system of court documents, such as there's a federal system called the Kaufman program, and where all the documents are available, and they want Texas to follow that federal database, and they've created eFile Texas as that portal. So they say it's driven by judges and attorneys, not necessarily the public.
So the fee that we have been collecting for that you and Rhonda collect, would go to the state now?
Yes. I know that Rhonda gave me a number of like $40,000 that she collects for copies of court records.
The state might only charge 50 cents, and they want to give us 10.
And we won't have a say in
Yeah, I
how
mean,
much
what I'm
they
saying,
charge.
they could, $1 a page, they might just cut it in half and give us 10%.
may not
And we ain't gonna flip, we lose complete control.
Yeah.
What is
Well, I think that the public, the information, there's a lot of cases that become undisclosed, they get expunged. There's so much personal information in a court case that we will have absolutely no control of who sees it, who's getting it, and what they're looking at. And all those questions have not been answered. How do you protect the individual's right for
Yeah.
privacy and
Excuse me, go ahead.
their personal,
But they've already begun the process of doing this.
yes, they started, rather than keeping it for only the 30 days, which is what the clerks were told in January, they started collecting it and keeping it permanently.
So the way to correct it would be through legislation. The way to correct it would be through legislation to prohibit them from doing this, or,
I don't know if it's gonna be, it's gonna be blocking legislation.
okay,
Because when they go to try to, the statutes are very clear now, the clerks are responsible for the redaction of them and the keeping of the documents, and they and the commissioner's court decide where those documents are going to be available, whether it's going to be in-house only, on the internet as indices, or on the internet as images. And those are questions that the clerk and the commissioner's court are responsible for. With e-file Texas, they're going to have to change all the statutes to say that the state is now responsible for the things that the clerk and the commissioners were once responsible for. So it's not necessarily writing the legislation, it's blocking everything that comes up.
okay. Gentlemen, what's your comments or pleasure?
I'd like to know council's opinion on this.
What Ms. Hughes said is correct in that the clerks and the commissioners right now, according to Texas statutes, are basically in control of these records. And so it's really a legislative fight, a legislative battle. But by adopting these resolutions, it shows the legislation that the various Texas counties and commissioners' courts approve blocking and keeping the legislation as it is. Honestly, you're probably in the future, you're going to move, there probably will be a move to a statewide system, because attorneys, when they practice in different counties, every county has a different setup, different allowances on records that they will allow someone to see or not see online. And so you're probably looking in the next few years at some type of statewide system. But by keeping this in place and supporting this to keep it in place, it allows the legislators time to work out a bill or pass legislation that still keeps things in the local control, like the clerks and the commissioners, that yet maybe allows for a statewide system that provides better protection and especially provides some type of fee sharing agreement at the local level, because it kind of takes away all of the monies. And I know that Rhonda, the county earns between, I think, $38,000 and $40,000 on these fees, and that's a lot of money. And so I think that you want to block this now. I think it's certainly, the policy decision that the commissioners would have to make, but it supports the current legislation as is. It's an attempt to prevent the statewide e-filing system from just kind of taking over and taking really control of all the records and information and really all the monies and funds that come from those records. But you're probably looking at a compromise somewhere in the future. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm really concerned about the privacy of the documents that's going to be exposed, so I'm making a motion that we consider this resolution.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Rosales to accept the resolution, second from Commissioner Allen. Do we have any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Gentlemen, I have a copy of this. If you pass that around, we'll get it signed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8 is 2015. I believe it was actually October the 26th that it was passed, and Commissioner Rosales had asked that this be placed on the agenda.
Yeah, Judge, as a farewell present to you, I put this on the agenda. I know that you really didn't agree with this, and it seemed to be really dear to your heart to do away with these. And I know that you voiced your opposition in the court to these rules and in the media several times, had several press releases, and your pal Gary Lindsay wrote multiple articles about this. And there's, from October 2015, February 2016, and then in March also. So, and Commissioner Phillips made the remark before that one court's ruling can't bind the next. So, I make the motion that we rescind this, and if the new court wants to adopt the rules, they'll have the opportunity to put them back in place or make their own rules. So, and I'll give you the opportunity to make a motion.
You put it on the agenda, I'll accept you. I believe you said you already made the motion.
Well, I'll make the motion, and you can second it. Vote on it.
Just so you know, my opinion is still the same. I do think it is an opportunity for the people to speak to the court. And, no, I'm not seconding the motion. I have the right to second what motion I wish to do so.
Right.
So do we have a second to the motion? Do we have a second to the motion? Do we have a second to the motion?
I'll second.
We have a second from Commissioner Shane. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
If you raise your hand, so will the clerk be able to tell. You're going to vote no on it, okay? So we have one, all those against. Okay, so we have three, and you can count me in, and you're also.
You're not for this? Rescinding the rule?
Commissioner, I just told you I'm in favor of I'm in favor of the public being able to speak at the commissioner's court.
Right, and that we rescind these rules and put them back.
Yes, and that's something the new court, as you said, will be able to take up after the first year. So this is not a political game. I mean, this is something.
Well, it was to use for several.
It was not a political game, sir. It was just.
Why did the article stop?
I didn't write the article.
You put out press releases, several of them.
I did. That was my prerogative. I can say this is American.
You were against it then, but you're not against it now.
Have we voted?
Yes.
Anybody got anything else to say? All right, I believe you wanted to skip down to item number 10.
No, I wanted to do number 8.
Excuse me?
8.
That was a.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Do number 9. Yeah, number 2.
You wanted to go to number 10? Okay. So number 10 is to discuss and consider reviewing county purchasing policy on page 17 and taking any necessary action to request quotes with specifications and notations to ensure that the county jail drain repair purchases are made within the county's business.
Yeah, again, this is related to the issue that we've discussed a couple of times. I've got here, and I think I provided all of y'all a copy from the Texas Association of Counties stating the commissioner's duties. And about midway down the page, the commissioner's court, one of the duties is provides and maintains all county buildings and facilities. And this is to do with the jail drain issue that we have discussed several times. And in there, I've provided y'all information on the AG opinions that council has provided me. And on the first page there, the supervision of employees says that the sheriff has authority to supervise all employees pertaining to safekeeping of the prisoners and operation of the jail. And in these multiple AG opinions, I have found nothing in there that states that the sheriff is required to do the maintenance of the construction or the ongoing maintenance of the jail. According to everything I read here, it says that it's the commissioner's court duty to provide the jail and the safekeeping of the prisoner. And so several weeks ago, a
check was issued for $22,028 for the repairs done on 4 drains in the jail. And upon discussion of the bill, Chief Deputy Beavers replied that the bids were received and the vendors chosen, and he relayed to us that the vendor chosen was the only qualified vendor due to jail standards, and decided to go with the 3D mechanical. Then we learned that the work wasn't actually done and the check was canceled. In the December 12th meeting, 52 minutes into the meeting, Chief Beaver stated that 2 drains had been fixed. After further discussion, 55 minutes and 31 seconds into the meeting, Chief Beaver stated that 250 drains could fail. 56 minutes and 18 seconds into the meeting, Chief Beaver stated no drains had been fixed. 57 minutes, 30 seconds into the meeting, bids were discussed. Lower bids, Chief Beaver stated that low bidders were not qualified. 58 minutes, 45 seconds into the meeting, Chief Beaver stated that the lack of specs on the bids was the reason that the low bidders were not chosen. Chief Beavers was adamant about the jail standards compliance, and very condescending to the Commissioner's Court. After that meeting, I began following up with the other plumbing companies on eligibility and qualifications, and questioned them on the written specifications given to them by which to bid. Chief Beavers and Lisa were purchasing discussed the informal bidding process. And Chief, can you guess what I found out?
Enlighten the court.
Sorry, pardon?
Enlighten the court.
Pardon?
Enlighten the court.
Okay. All right. Well, what I found out was there was no written specifications for the process for the work to be done. I contacted all 3 companies that were not chosen and said they were given a walkthrough through the jail, and that they were told that the drains were 3 to 4 foot deep. So that's how they based their bid. And that was with, like I say, all 3 of the other companies. And my fear is that with this kind of behavior, that eventually word's going to spread, and we're not going to be able to get fair competitive bidding, because we're going to get a reputation for not taking the low bid, even though they're meet requirements. And one of the companies, actually the one that was lowest bid, they actually do Henderson County's jail. They do all the plumbing, or a lot of the plumbing, in Henderson County Jail. So there is no reason that they couldn't work in our jail. And you were very adamant about jail standards, not meeting jail standards. So I contacted Brandon Wood, Executive Director, TCJS, about the plumbing company's authority, or the plumbing company's ability to do the work. And his reply was that there is no process that you go through to do repairs on drains. The only requirement by TCJS is the fasteners that hold the drain plates down. They have to be tamper-proof fasteners so that the prisoners can't remove them. Everything below that, it just has to meet the plumbing code, whichever one of these is a legal certified plumber. They have a license, they're a licensed plumbing company. So I'd like to make a motion, we rebid the jail drain project through the purchasing agent with written specifications given by and under the supervision of the county facilities administrator.
Okay, you have that in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
Everybody understand the motion? Yes. Okay, and we have a second from Commissioner Shane. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye, or raise your hand. 2. All against?
Are y'all not concerned with saying one?
All against? We're voting right now, Commissioner. All against, raise your hand. And the motion fails. as presented. Item number 9 is the next item that Commissioner Shane wanted on the, Commissioner Gonzalez wanted on the agenda, and that is to discuss and consider transferring multiple employees from the county jail's maintenance department to the county maintenance department to be supervised by the maintenance director and make any necessary corresponding line item transfers.
Again, this came to our attention after this blatant disregard for taxpayers' money on this project. And I have the Attorney General opinion, OPH 1190. I think I supplied that to each one of y'all. First sentence there of the AG opinion is, again, that the sheriff has a direct control over the actual daily operation of the county jail. You go down to the 4th paragraph, and it says that this language is clear that the sheriff shall exercise the supervision of control and the nature of this authority in such that it precludes the Commissioner's Court from such authority over the jail. The sheriff is the keeper of the jail. Keeper is defined as custodian, manager, or superintendent, one who has the care, custody, or management of anything or place. And you go down to the last paragraph, it says the Commissioner's Court shall provide safe and suitable jails for their respective counties and shall cause the same to be maintained in good sanitary condition at all times, properly ventilated, heated, and lighted, structurally sound, fire resistant. And that's the key right there. The Commissioner's Court is one of their duties is to provide a structurally sound jail, fire resistant and kept in good repair. So clearly the maintenance of that jail is under the Commissioner's Court authority by according to the Attorney General's opinion, state statute. Now, I requested from McLeod a printout of how much we have spent on that jail since its inception. And it's been between from $97,000 per year to the maximum of $217,000 per year since it was opened. That's a total of $1.612 million. And knowing what I know now about their bidding processes, looks like we possibly could have saved, if nothing else, maybe a third of that amount by being a little more attentive to our contracts and maintenance. So a third of that would have been $537,000. That's the equivalent of rebuilding 30 miles of road. So our maintenance guy is worked out so great. I'm proposing this change in department structure to fully utilize our newly formed county maintenance department that has proven its worth by thoroughly investigating each challenge that it faces, swiftly and efficiently fixing the problem, or selecting the best vendors if it is beyond their limited resources to cure. If we can consolidate the jail maintenance personnel into the county maintenance department under the supervision of the facilities maintenance administrator, it's my firm belief that we could have much better and better looking facilities. We could head off expensive repairs by being proactive instead of reactive. And most importantly, save the taxpayers a tremendous amount of money. What I base this on, the records that I previously stated about the cost of the maintenance of the jail on a yearly basis. So I'd like to motion to accept item number 10. 9. Transferring multiple employees from the county jail's maintenance department to the county maintenance department to be supervised by the facility director and make any necessary corresponding line item transfers. I think the taxpayers will get a lot more for the money.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Gonzalez. Do we have a second? Commissioner Shane seconds the motion. Do we have any other discussion? All in favor, if you'll raise your right hand. All against, if you'll raise your right hand. Pardon?
They're already in it.
They're not under his supervision.
Okay, well,
There is supervision.
This is something that we can actually put on the workshop issue for next year.
I agree.
Or just a lot of things need to be worked out.
So to verify the vote, did you vote no? You voted yes. Okay, so it's a 3-2 vote. Motion fails. We'll move on to item number 11. Item number 11 is to discuss and consider approving a change in the length of County Road 273 from 2,640 feet to 3,141.6 feet in Kaufman County Precinct number 3. Commissioner Shane, I believe you put that on.
Yeah, this is all here. Clear up an issue. This is the road that we received from precinct 1, along with a lot of roads we received from precinct 2 that was also wrong. And so this is just cleaning it up because the seaway pipeline goes across where this issue's at. And so I make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Shane to approve this increase in the feet from 2,640 feet to 3,141.6 feet. Do I have a second?
I say.
Okay, I have a second from Commissioner Rosali. Do we have discussion before we vote?
Yeah, taking on new roads for new commissioner to come in is last minute kind of deal is concerning. And also his work already been finished on this road
No,
before we accept it.
it's just been cleaned up. I fixed up the situation that was bad. And that's actually Trinity Valley was called to our attention that the road length was wrong. And same people on both sides of the road, fences have not been changed. There's nothing that's a change on this road other than us cleaning up this mess right here.
Were the
This was Seaway pipeline goes across the road, so, you know, we got Seaway in the lawsuit. On the Seaway process takes the road.
were the proper procedures followed as directed by the DA's office?
It's just put it on, which was going good, so.
Yeah, it was on the agenda before.
Yeah, it was supposed to be on the agenda before. Ms. Cates would have been in that office over. I got a deal back that I found in my package that said it was, need to be there, not put back on there in 20 days. Well, I didn't realize it, because we having all our budget talks and this come back in between the package that I got, and the other day we had to start looking at things, and this was called my attention, and that's when we found out that it was new that, but she puts things, will put things right back, if something was dangerous, just put it back in the next week.
Yeah, I believe in response to the agenda item that you sent to put on the agenda earlier, I had responded to you and gave you a copy of the law that said what needed to be done to extend the road properly. There were some procedures.
It was 20 days, so, you know.
This is a correction of the road report, is it not?
Right, exactly.
Well, I guess I'll continue in my report. My request is, or my just a question is, have the correct procedures been adopted to add this road?
Well,
It's not added, it's correcting the road.
Lengthening the road, I'm sorry, lengthening the road.
It's correcting the road report.
it's,
The road's been there.
It was bad from the get-go. It was just like all the other things we got from precinct 1, precinct 2. The road reports were not, that's been the issues with our road reports in Kaufman County.
Okay, but officially, has the road gone through the process that is required?
Yeah,
It has gone through the process. Okay. Do we have any other questions about extending County Road 273, which is also, I think, the Roseville Cemetery,
yeah.
formerly known as, but it's officially known as County Road 273.
Procedures followed.
Are you asking?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Rebecca and I will both address this. We do not have, the information that we provided either has to be an implied dedication or a specific dedication. And none of those documents have been provided to us. We sent those out, so none of this, and Rebecca can address this maybe a little bit more, but none of those, we have not received any of those documents.
The only final question I had was about the property owners. If we're going to do an implied dedication before accepting a piece of the road, we want to make sure that we know that each of the property owners that touches that piece of road that we're taking in, that they've said, yes, we're okay with this, And they've made it, very, very clear, because if not, then they would have an injunctive right against us for, I guess, taking over that part of what's now their property, if it's a private road.
Well, didn't we do the same thing with Ray Clark when he was here? We took him 3,600 feet and nothing was ever gone to the property owners. Neither did they do that on the...
And I know you and I have had discussions about you talking to one of the property owners, but it looks
talked
like
to,
there are
I talked to
additional
the
ones.
dad, but I didn't talk to the son. The father said, hey, we on both sides of the road, nothing's ever going to change.
See, because when you look at the map, it appears there's another property owner. So that's
Well, that's
why I
only
was-
the dead end.
Well, because if any of the property owners touch that road, and that's their right to ingress and egress from the property, then they would have an injunctive right. So that's the only thing, and implied dedication is one of the most simple ones that you can get. I mean, we just literally need them to say, yes, I'm good with this, I think it's a public road, it should be one, I'm okay with the county doing that. If not, if you guys want to make it clear, we
Well,
can do.
I can get it signed for it, you'll send
We
it
can
to
do
me.
the express,
You
no,
didn't send that
that's
to
the
me.
thing, it doesn't have, an implied does not have to be signed. We can do it cleaner and do an express citation, and I've already sent those forms to you.
So my question, before we have a vote, the work has already been done on this additional
Yeah,
fee.
I took the road back up to the asphalt. Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, do we have any,
Yeah, so we put it on Commissioner's Court the first time on Trinity Valley. We'll learn just about it.
yeah, I believe that's where we extended where they could use
Yeah.
the,
So we give them permission to call out to the county road, so it's already been done.
okay, do we have any other questions before we vote? Do we have a motion to,
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
a motion from Commissioner Shane, do we have a second?
I got a comment. I'm not sure that the district attorney is clear on that road. That road is a county road that's been there forever. It was kind of abandoned because the property owner owned one guy on everything at the end of it. And it's since been, there's some houses that have been built down there, and it's basically correcting the road for it. It's not that they're taking in new footage, it's that it was being repaired so that people could use it. And I don't know if that has any bearing on what you're talking about, needs to be signed.
What would have bearing is if during the 2007, whenever the court adopted the county road map, if the distance was larger than it is now, so that it shows that it is just a correcting an amount that was reported incorrectly, that would change the fact situation. But all we're saying here tonight is that there are multiple options to get this thing fixed. And we're more than willing to help do it. We just really need to know who those property owners are, have a sit-down discussion, and see if we can do the implied route, and or if they want to do the express route and actually put on their property.
Well, I'll call Mr. House and have him give you a call.
And the only thing is, I think there's another one than Mr. House, so that's the only.
Well, it's his
that's my-
son Jeff.
Oh, that owns the side property?
Yeah.
Okay, so father, son.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain.
We just don't want to
And
get a
Gage has already
situation where
put
we
this
cut
on the,
someone's property off.
extended the
And
county.
I think it's a question of, is it a road extension, was it incorrectly reported, or was it not incorrectly reported, and the road material or the road has been added, so it's a question of whether it's incorrectly reported initially, or whether the road has been extended, and we don't have that information, that's something that you all.
Gage is here.
Yeah.
Gage, can you elaborate on this here, the mapping?
Yeah, so, just a couple months back, we put together a map
Why
showing,
don't you come on up here?
Yeah.
Show them that.
and so I put together a map showing the original distance that I had, which is more the legacy distance that I kind of inherited from my predecessors that did the GIS. I never really looked into that road particularly because there's not much down there. But then I heard word that they were wanting to extend it down to the bridge. So I put together a map showing the distance that I had before that and the distance that I calculated from where I had it ending to the end of the bridge. And then I put that together in a map and mailed it out to kind of show what it was and what it's going to be, kind of a thing, if it got accepted. But other than that, it's just more of a proposed change kind of a map.
Have you visited the site?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Where old fence is still back, was the easement there fenced off?
Well, I don't know about I'm not a surveyor. But it was fenced down, if I remember correctly, down to the bridge, if not a little farther. But as far as the legal distance of that, I'm not sure what, I did have a surveyor to actually verify that sort of thing.
But the right of way has been established for many years.
It looked like the fence was following the road down there on either side of it. Well, that's what,
What, dead end into some property?
well, I mean, the road,
Yeah.
it just kind of goes down, and then it keeps going past that too. But it's still, there's just 2 tire tracks down there, one is a road full of caves. But I drove it back then.
He's familiar, he's a map guy, so I want to get his information.
All right, we have, thank you, Gage. We have a motion on the floor and a second. Do we have any other discussion before we call for a vote? All in favor say aye. And raise your hand if you would, so there's no misunderstanding. All against say aye and raise your hand. 3, 2. Did you vote again?
Oh, yeah, no, I can't do that, that's the next thing I do. I'm not gonna change the road the day before, I mean,
All right, so that motion fails on a 3-2 vote. Item number 12 is to discuss and consider accepting a donation of $11,906 from Reese Farms for repairs to County Road 4116. This is in precinct 4.
I put the, Clark Houston had an accident, plow on the road, tore it up, and paying for the damage to the road.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. We have a motion to set that donation.
that's one of the traffic out there.
And it's,
Commissioner Allen makes a motion. We have a second from Commissioner Phillips. Do we have any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
I got one question. Did you already get the money?
no.
Okay. Motion carries, and you voted in favor. Okay. Next item is item number 13 from Ms. McLeod to present our auditor's report for November 2016.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
If you have any questions over your auditor's report, it's for as of November 30th, so it's only 60 days into the new budget.
Anybody have any questions? We have a motion to accept the auditor's report for November of 2016.
Motion.
Motion from Commissioner Allen and a second from Commissioner Phillips. All in favor say aye. Those opposed. All righty, item number 15 is to discuss and consider claim for payment. 14, I'm sorry. Discuss and consider line item transfers.
There were none. And in budgets, we hadn't needed to transfer.
Okay. No line item transfers, so we will just skip over that. There's nothing to discuss. We will table it, I think. I have a motion to do so. Commissioner Phillips, second from somebody. Commissioner Allen. All in favor say aye. Those opposed. All right, next meeting, next item is number 15. Discuss and consider claims for payment.
Your claims for payment today are $1,452,031.53.
Anybody have any questions on the bills?
Make a motion.
Have a motion from Commissioner Allen. Do we have a second? Second from Commissioner Phillips. Any other questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. All right, item number 16, and we need to take a break. We already moved right on into the. All right. Item number 16, we're going to be going into an executive session, and so I need a motion to exit the record meeting and enter into the executive session. Motion. Phillips, and a executive session. Commissioner Allen and Commissioner Phillips made a motion to second. It's 10:35.
And there was no action coming out of the executive session. Our mediation did not resolve the lawsuit between Kaufman County and Seaway, and so we have a trial date set for March the 6th, 2017, and so the county will just continue to aggressively pursue that litigation so that we're prepared for our trial date on March the 6th.
So, that takes care of item number 19. So, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Got a motion from Commissioner Phillips, do I have a second? Motion Shane, second, all in favor say aye. Aye. They can do the